Hello, my name is Kelly Lemon and I am a property investor, and for this video I want to start with one question, which is if you had just had the best year ever, how would you know? And I think that's a great question. Someone said that to me a couple of days ago and I thought, what a great question, because when you look at setting goals, when you do vision boards and all those sorts of things, it can all get a little bit busy and a bit crowded. But I love that question because it just hits right to the crux of the issue. So I want to ask you, when you look back on your previous year and when you look ahead on the year to come, if that was the best year that you'd ever had, how would that look? Does the current situation look like you've just had your best year? And if not, as you look ahead for the year, what does the best year ever look like? And what does it feel like? And what I love about this question is it really brings goals to life. So quite often when people set goals, and I love talking about goal setting, but quite often people set goals, it's very numbers based, it's very words based, but actually it doesn't really look at the lifestyle. Because quite often when somebody asks me or somebody discusses what it is they're trying to achieve and they're bouncing ideas, I'll quite often ask why. Why do they want what they want? What are they planning to do with it? And you'll find that quite often the best year ever, to get to the lifestyle that you want, is actually much simpler than you think. And I'm going to come back to that idea, so stay with me. And what I mean by that is quite often people will, they'll build this massive staircase to success. They'll say, well, for me to have the best year ever, I need to have this, 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 and this. And then it becomes this massive staircase, metaphorically. And they look up, and what's interesting about that is they look up and it gives them a reason to go, oh, do you know what? That's too big. That's too high. I can't do it. And sometimes I wonder if subconsciously people do that deliberately. I remember listening to somebody interviewing a guest, and when the guest came on, the interviewer said, she's done this, she's done this, she's done this, and all of these, wonderful things that she'd done. And she kind of walked in, and he was like, wow, it's just so amazing. I can't even get my head around what you've done. And she said, don't make me great to let yourself off the hook. And I thought, what a great way of looking at it. And what that really reminded me is quite often in life, we will say that to get to a certain place, it's so big. You have to be so fantastic. You have to be so productive. You have to be so good at this, so good at that. Quite often people say to me, I don't know how you do these things. It's so successful, your project, all of that stuff. And I'm like, but on the other side, I know that that's totally normal. And actually, that's more about them putting me on a pedestal so that they can make excuses themselves. And that's really kind of the idea I wanted to introduce in this video, that quite often people make their best year ever so big, so elaborate, that actually they know they can't achieve it. And that allows them to not even bother trying. So that's one reason that question is really great. But another reason is a great question is because I remember speaking to somebody, a really super successful person in property. And he said to me, Kelly, my perfect day is extremely low cost. It's more about having my health. It's more about having my freedom. It's about taking my kids to the park. It's about getting an ice cream. And it's all those sorts of things. And it kind of dawned on me that quite often when you are in the position where you're building your property portfolio, you're building a business, it's all about more, more, more. And I remember another mentor saying to me once, is bigger always better? Don't just go for bigger. Don't just go for more. Especially if you're in property, don't just get more properties. Why are you getting more properties? What's the specific reason? And that's what that interview kind of highlighted. And it's exactly the same for me. So for my life, freedom is really important. Flexibility is really important. So when you've got that kind of, do you want to invest loads of time to go towards this goal? I always measure it against what my lifestyle goal is. And actually, again, if I go back to that question, if I look at where I want to be in 12 months' time, how do I know that's been the best year ever? And actually, it's not that different to where I am now. The things that I spend my time and my money on are not that different. So, and again, it's a similar question if someone says, if you only had 6 years left to live, what would you do differently? And the honest answer is I wouldn't do much differently, because I enjoy what it is I'm doing. And I'm also working towards the things that are really important to me and have been important to me and will probably continue to be important to me. So, but I think that's a really good question. And I know that quite often this is the time of year where everyone gets reflective, and I love that people get reflective. In fact, I actually sit down with people and I go through these exercises. My job, and one of the things that I do, is I sit down with people and go, right, let's get clear. What is it you're trying to achieve? And let's build a strategy that matches that vision. And then let's figure out what steps need to be done in what sequence. And that's something that I do. So if that's of any interest, let me know. And like I say, loads of people get loads of value from it. But so I love reflection, but I also love reflection when it turns into action steps. And what I love about this question, which is if you just had your best year ever, how would you know? Go away, quantify that, figure that out, have a look and see what that image is and see what's involved in it, because it probably isn't as expensive or as difficult or as time consuming as you maybe think, but you've never really taken the time to actually figure out, well, what does good look like? What does great look like in my life? And the saddest thing is quite often it's right in front of you and actually you miss it because you're going off after something that you don't even realise the relationship to it. So that's a great question. Like I say, someone said that the other day, I thought that's a great question. I want to share that with you because it might hit the right chord and it might take that blurry vision or the numbers of what you think a goal is, because never start with the numbers. Start with what it is that you're trying to achieve. Start with the picture and then put the metrics and the numbers underneath it so that it's trackable and it's something you can work towards. But I always say start with the picture. Who is in your picture? Where is your picture? And why are those people in it? And why is it in that location? And I think that's probably the best place to start. Anyway, like I say, if you're interested in a clarity session, that's something I absolutely can do with you. And also check out my website. There's loads of resources on there that are really helpful for people getting clear. That's one thing I'm absolutely passionate about, is get clear. You know, I used to be a financial journalist, loads of jargon. One of the things I'm great at is taking all that jargon, figuring it all out and making it into really simple steps. Because when it's simple, and when it's small enough, people take action. And that's the most important thing. And also, there'll be a link below. Feel free to join my community, because I built this community and I'm actively building this community because I want people that want to do the same things, that have got similar interests and values, and they want to grow and they want to make their money, they want to make their time, they want to make all the assets they've got work for them. And this is absolutely the right place to be. And it's where I share all of my information and it kind of cuts through the noise of social media. But anyway, I hope you got value from this video. And if there's anything you do from this video, go away and ask yourself that question. Look back on the year that you've just had. Is it a reflection of the best year ever? And if you wanted to have your best year ever coming up, how would you know? And then quantify it. That's the best thing you can do. My name's Kelly Lemon and I hope you got loads of value from this.